mysterious. The focus wasn't to get people to move, it was to get them just to kind of like soak in an atmosphere. Hush Hush Records began as kind of an extension of a DJ night that started February 2012. That was also called Hush Hush. A buddy and DJ friend of mine named Josh Roberts, who goes by DJ Verse, he was booking DJ nights at this small little bar called The Living Room on Capitol Hill. And there was a lot of music coming out that I thought fit this night bus idea. The definition of night bus as it applies to Hush Hush revolves around the feeling certain music gives you. From a literal standpoint, night bus is like the kind of music you'd want to listen to on a bus at night in your headphones, looking out the window to kind of give you this type of nostalgic in-motion feelings where you're kind of contemplative, kind of romantic, kind of sad. So it's more of a feeling than anything else. Hip-hop, electronic, R&B texture, so it's kind of a culmination of all my favorite type of music over the last decade plus. Decided to kind of focus the night on night bus music. The initial conception of Hush Hush being kind of a night bus label is really fitting for Seattle in a lot of ways, with the weather and kind of the gloominess of a lot of the seasons here. I think a lot of people, especially in Seattle, can relate to this idea of night bus. So Hush Hush seemed like a cool name because it was kind of like quiet and kind of mysterious. Kid Simple was the first artist. He was making music I was a big fan of ever since hearing an EP of his called the Ghost Suit EP that came out summer of 2011 on a label called Car Crash Set.
And he got like the promo because he works at KXP and he's a DJ there, and he really liked it and he was playing it. And so because of that, I started sending him just like new music, just like unreleased stuff.
And all the stuff he was sending me totally fit this vibe.
Yeah, he really liked it, and for a long time he was asking me like, are like any of these tracks gonna come out like as like an official release or anything?
Kept bugging him about whether it'd ever see a release on a label or whether he would put it out himself.
There weren't really any labels like biting from at the moment, so
I think we were just having coffee at Cafe Vita on Capitol Hill one day, and it's just kind of one of those kind of make me want to start a label so I can put out this music. He's like, that would be cool. Yeah, that was like May 2012, so it was just a few months after starting the DJ night. And yeah, Hush Hush Records was kind of born that spring 2012. partially it's to put a spotlight on Seattle artists that I think are doing cool things. It's partially to just present music in general, regardless of whether it is Seattle or not. One of the more exciting things about some of the early Hush Hush nights was I was starting to see a lot of the producers that I've been in communication with over the years, like kind of meet there and start to interact, like seeing Kid Simple talking to IG88 and Fox Mod coming out and playing one of the early Hush Hush nights at Arabica, and just seeing different musicians coming together that could talk to DJs like myself and get them excited about their music, and then having just the friends and regular music consumers that wanted to come check out the night just also be able to chat with DJs and producers and musicians. So that was one of the more exciting things, was kind of seeing all these different people that typically are just in their bedrooms or not really super social, outgoing people coming together at this night to meet and talk, kind of get to know each other. But I still see Hush Hush being kind of like an incubator label in a lot of ways. A lot of debuts, kind of giving unheard of artists an opportunity to put out their music through a label that might have more exposure than they do if they have any. So I'm working with a lot of basically unheard of artists, which I think it's really rewarding to kind of support these up and coming artists, like from their early developments, early stages. I think it helps for these artists to have someone to kind of like support them and kind of push them along and kind of put faith in them that they're making music that's worth presenting to the world and having them hear it. It just so happens that a lot of these artists are brand new artists that I feel like I've kind of adopted this role where I'm kind of like a cheerleader almost in a weird way, or just like an early supporter. Like I think artists need other people to put their faith in what they're doing and their confidence in what they're doing to allow them to keep doing what they're doing, especially if it's of a quality that he feels worth more people hearing.
think Alex is really easy to work with, communicates really well.
It's nice releasing music on a label with someone that I see all the time and that I'm friends with.
But it's also always weird just having to give something that you put a lot of time into to somebody else and kind of having them make decisions about it. Best case to have Alex be the guy.
Ever since I first met him, I pretty much knew that it was going to be just right for us, and we're pretty picky about who we work with.
I mean, Alex is a person. He's a friend more than he's a dude who's like a gatekeeper to whether or not something goes out.
He goes out of his way to understand what it is that you're trying to do, and then gives you real world ways to go about doing it.
It's good to have constant feedback and stuff like that, and just know the person personally that it's releasing your music, so it doesn't have that kind of business barrier where it can be weird for music.
So he's a good dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that it's kind of more about an emotional response versus is it this kind of music or is it that kind of music? That's one thing I really responded to when we were looking around at labels and stuff like that. And it's just a lot of it's about genres or about kind of even what a band looks like more than what they sound like sometimes. And so it's nice to have this kind of collective of people who just have mood and atmosphere.
It's kind of been a influx period. Especially this year. This is 2014 was kind of the first year I wanted to consciously start being okay personally with putting out music that didn't totally fit the Night Bus idea. There's been some releases this year that it's going to branch out the sound quite a bit.
I was talking about this yesterday, and we're it's not really Night Bus anymore, I guess. I mean, especially if you're going to be talking to Cock and Swan, right? They're not even part of the Burial thing, which is great because it's better that things aren't kind of pigeonholed as that.
I really don't know. I mean, I think it's just going to get more open and kind of progress in its own way, which I think is exciting.
If you're at the Kid Simple show at the Decibel Festival, it was kind of getting punched in the gut, right? It was hard. I actually really enjoy that. It's the physical sound, it's kind of abrasive.
The main motivation behind a label is to share music, and that's still the primary motivation. As far as the type of releases that I'm looking to put out with Hush Hush, it's going to be more varied. So I see the trajectory of Hush Hush kind of following similar lines to other labels I've really admired and looked up to over the years, where they start off with a very specific kind of idea or concept, but then it branches out to include more styles, and I think that's kind of representative of the people behind the label and just their specific individual taste. So I still want to put out music by artists that excites me, that I want to stand behind, but I don't want it to specifically be fit this kind of slower cinematic atmospheric Night Bus sound. I mean, as a label, it kind of comes down to curation as far as being selective enough with what you want to put out and making sure you're not putting out anything that I'm not excited by, and I'm just kind of trusting my gut on if it's exciting to me and the releases present in such a way that seems worthy of putting energy and time into, that it'll be exciting for people out there in the world to check out. But yeah, just strictly curation is kind of the main way I feel like you can stand out, is if you put out enough quality music, people will just kind of trust you as far as what you're putting out, regardless of whether they've ever heard of the artist that's putting out music on the label, which is like, it's what I'm striving for, and it's kind of what I was realizing when I started getting into noticing what labels were putting out music. Even if you never heard the artist, you wanted to check out the release because it was being put out by this label. So that's always kind of been a goal, is trying to become a label that people will want to check out. But consistently trying to figure out how to stand out is also kind of part of running a label. It's all to provide positive things for the music community. Yeah, just trying to put out cool music and put on some cool shows and get people excited about some really predominantly chill music.